The Edmonton Elks, they head out to Toronto. They have a lead late, but unfortunately, they let one slip away. The Edmonton Elks, they fall to the Toronto Argonauts by a score of 31-30. They drop to 5-8 on the season and will remain 2 points back of BC and Winnipeg for a tie for third in the West Division. This is the Green and Gold Postgame Show. Iwanyk and Jay Milne with you here live on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton Sports, presented by Play Alberta. Thank you for everyone for tuning in across the Edmonton Sports Talk audio streams, edmontonsportstalk.com, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Apple Music. For those watching on YouTube, as well as for anyone listening to this via podcast, we appreciate you as well. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button for us on YouTube as well. We'd greatly appreciate that. Lots to get to on this game. As I said, the Edmonton Elks defensively, multiple turnovers in this game. Another really built off of that performance that they had last week against the Calgary Stampeders. We saw them do something we haven't seen all year, which is pick the ball at will. But they still let this game slip away. Offensively, just can't get things fully going without those turnovers. But we want your thoughts. 780-218-9999. That is the inbox. Or you could jump in to the nasty chat. I will, with that, bring in Jay Milne right now. And Jay, your just initial thoughts on this game.
Tale of two halves. To be, first off, they were up 14-3 at half. Somewhat in control. There were 6 turnovers by that defense.
Yep.
4 interceptions, 2 turnovers on downs. Every point Edmonton scored was off of a turnover. The offense, if you look at the numbers of Cody Fajardo, 25 of 28 for 229, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, that looks like a great stat line. However, they rushed the ball for 34 yards between their 2 running backs. 44 yards. They couldn't finish drives. Each time they had an interception in the second half, I said, okay, is the offense going to step up? When are they going to put together a drive when they're the only ones that are doing something? And they didn't. You know what? I was looking forward to coming in here and saying this was a victory, in that, hey, sometimes in victories you need all different facets of your game or different facets of your game to show up. Today it was the Elks defense that showed up, and they carried the team. Now, unfortunately, at the end of the game, things just fell apart. Cody Fajardo, fumble. I'm sorry, but David Beard, smother that ball.
Yeah, your number one job on that play is just to protect the football.
Get the damn football under control.
Fall on it.
Do not try and be cute about it. Jump on it with your massive, giant body.
Yeah.
How that turned into a touchdown it is beyond me. Who knows how this game goes? At the end of the game, when they're going for a field goal, I was saying it to you while we're watching. What are they doing? Don't settle for a field goal. Get a touchdown and put this away.
Yeah, you didn't like the offensive play calling.
No, it was scaredy cat calling. Like, we're just going to try and eat up some clock and get a field. No, go for the punch. Go for the kill.
It almost was like, okay, they got Jared Daggy, who hasn't thrown it. I said this during the game from my perspective, but I feel like they thought, okay, Jared Daggy's not going to beat us.
Well, he did.
This is going to be good enough. Jared Daggy's not going to beat us. I feel like that was kind of the mentality there. We're in a position to score points, the go-ahead points. Nick Arbuckle's not in this game. We've got it with the way our defense has been playing.
They would have been better off with Arbuckle in the game. They would have been better off with Arbuckle in the game.
Yeah, keeping him in the game almost cost them.
It's just frustrating end of the game. There's so many things you can point at. But it's a loss. It's a loss that they shouldn't have had. It's a loss that their defense had 6 turnovers, Matt. You should not lose those games.
Multiple third down stops.
Yeah.
Multiple third down stops, 4 interceptions. The defense did come to play and played a great football game, without question. And unfortunately just couldn't get that last drive. But when you do what you did, it shouldn't have to come down to that last drive for that defense. They shouldn't have been in a position where they needed that one last stop because they did so much of that throughout the game. The offense should have had this game put away a lot sooner.
Yes. 100%.
The one thing and this is what concerns me about the Elks moving forward in this growth. And like Graham Moseman in the Nasty Chat, after a couple hot weeks, it is so easy to forget how new this entire team is. Bummer game. You can't let a 5+ turnover game slip away. And that is part of like, we do have to remember that they are still in the, like what Nick Anderson, the quote you had from the kickoff show was, they're getting there, but they're evolving still. There are still going to be stumbles. There's still going to be learning to be done. This was a stumble without question by this team. But where I will come out, this is a concern that I have about this team right now, is I think if we look at all season, I don't care who the quarterback is, Trey or Cody. If we look at all season, the games that Justin Rankin has had big stats, I have a feeling they're almost undefeated.
Right.
It's the games when they don't win. I think if we look at, he didn't do much, and they couldn't get him involved in the game. They couldn't get him productive in a lot. When you look at his official stats, yes, he got a touchdown, but only 27 rushing yards and only 8 receiving yards. Like, if, this is why we say Justin Rankin is the MOP for the Edmonton Elks. It seems offensively as good as Cody has been, because I'm just going to say this right off the bat. He's the quarterback of this team. Like,
what would suggest that he lost the game for Edmonton?
Right. The only thing I would say is a fumble, which is one error, but there's other errors.
It was
point
stripped
to
out
of
his hands. That's going to happen. It's a football play.
He was 25 of 28, 229, just 2 touchdowns. Like, just outright.
Settle down.
He puts the Elks right now in a much better chance to win football games than anyone else. It's just the reality of this situation.
He was almost 90% passing tonight. He can't play. He can't do everything. He can't play defense. He can't open up holes for the running backs. I'm sorry. This Cody Fajardo is a bum, a fraud. Get out of here. I don't know what you're watching. You clearly don't watch football, because plays happen like that. Quarterbacks fumble the ball. I'm sorry to say that. And he got stripped of the football. And on top of that, I don't know if you saw him limping around all game. I think he's probably injured. He wasn't running the ball as well as he has in the past. So he's playing probably through an ankle injury of some sort.
I hate that. I don't like quarterbacks playing injured. Nick Arbuckle should have been pulled. If there's something, then you've got to start looking at maybe, a week off or something to rest it, but they have a bye week coming up in a few weeks. But it's as good as Cody has been for this team. Rankin is the offense right now, and they don't have enough other playmakers to help this team out. That if Rankin's not going, Fajardo doesn't have anyone else to get the ball to move this offense down the field.
Right.
That's the concern I have with the Edmonton Elks moving forward for the rest of the season. I said it last week on the postgame show. If there's one thing I wish this team could add before the trade deadline, which is usually early October, would be to go get a receiver and a playmaking receiver, because I think that's, if you are a defense and you find a way to contain Justin Rankin, we have seen now, the Elks aren't going to win. Or they're going to have their struggles, and they're not going to go put up the touchdowns that you need to. So that is one thing that was evident that proved for me today is accurate, that moving forward, whether that's the rest of this season or going into next year, obviously Justin Rankin is a key part of this. Obviously Cody Fajardo is a key part of this. But they do need to find some other playmaker that, if a defense does contain number 5, you can just shift focus to someone else, and the offense is going to keep rolling. Because who stepped up today from an offensive perspective as Rankin wasn't being able to be as productive as we've seen over the last few weeks?
Well, Hilaire, 6 for 6, 49 yards. He was consistent. He was there.
Right, but 49 yards isn't a lot.
Yeah, like you got 49 from him, 61 from Julian Grant.
So it's
Arkell Smith, Curly Gittins Jr., they were spreading the ball around.
Absolutely, but my point is, if Rankin's not going, last week Rankin, they spread the ball, but Rankin also got 200 yards, which helps them win that football game. Well, it's great to spread the yardage, but who's going to get you the Polk 95, almost 100-yard game? You need a 100-yard receiver at some point, or you need to be close to having a 100-yard receiver on your team if you're going to want to win football games. They also had Herslow, who's 81-2. They still had a 46, 37, 22. If you look, they spread the ball around too. But they have a couple big playmakers on their team. And that's the thing this Elks offense is missing. They've got a running back, they've got a quarterback, but they don't have that third weapon. And that's something that Ed Hervey's going to have to go sort out for the rest of the season.
Yeah, and, Rankin, like you said, was
contained.
He wasn't there. It was not even a part of the game. He did not notice him except for, a couple runs?
He had a couple runs late in that early touchdown. But, I think even the running attack, I feel like McSimic was back to just running up the middle to a degree with Justin Rankin.
Yeah, absolutely. He had 12 carries. So this is one of those games where, okay, if it's not going your way as Jordan McSimic with the running game, scrap it. We saw them go the whole second half against Montreal without running the ball. And that's what won them the game. Cody Fajardo was able to hit his receivers. He was able to complete passes. How many sacks did they end up giving up, though? That was a big number. 2, 3, 4. 5 sacks. And like I said, I did not see. I don't know. I just feel like Cody Fajardo wasn't able to escape that, where in some instances he would have had, when Eli Manning used to take a sack, he'd give up 2 yards before the player even touched him because he just knew he couldn't get out of it. That's what Cody Fajardo looked like tonight. Whereas you might see him roll out of something or try get away and evade with his feet. I didn't think he had that tonight. So that's why I'm saying maybe there's something going on with him and hurting his ability to run. I'm not sure. But it seemed like a couple of those he could have gotten out of. Was he holding on to the ball too long as well? That's been a knock.
Yeah, I didn't feel that today. Did you?
I didn't think so. It just seemed like the pocket really collapsed too fast. And without being able to move out. And Arbuckle was able to evade rush several times. Step up, step left, step right, get up in the pocket. You saw him evade quite a few sacks. And in fact, a lot of quarterbacks are doing that or can do that. Cody had no capability of that today.
Yeah, only three rushes for 5 yards. I think I misread part of this, but Charlie Defoe, that play at the end of the second quarter where Elks elected to kick rather than surrender a point cost them the game. This allowed Argos field goal in dying seconds. This goes to the very end where they didn't give up the safety and instead punted the ball away. Argos ended up getting 3 points. What was the return on that, though? I hate giving up 3 points. I'm not going to lie.
Well, I suggested the safety, but then why? At that point, they took the time count violation. So you're running time off the clock. Yeah. I mean, look at this. Look at what happened. You give up a safety, you pin them deep, the half's over, and you're a point ahead.
Yeah.
So the right decision there was to probably take the safety.
Sure.
Now, nobody would have known that would have come back to bite them in the ass like this. But at that time, you've already taken it down to 11 seconds. Take the safety.
Yeah, but it's also, Grant returned at 15 yards. If you hold him...
Yeah, and it was a bad Jake Julian punt. And you know what
He punted at 52 yards. He was returned 15 yards. That gave Toronto the ability to kick a 53-yard field goal. You hold him to a 10-yard return.
Do you think maybe that's where that all stemmed from? And did you see Dinwiddie after the game?
I didn't see fully. I'm seeing a lot of messages that he was arrogant. He
ran right over to the bench. He didn't shake Killam's hand. He went over there and motioned like you guys got kicked in the ass. Daggy, for some silly reason, thought he won the game for them and went and chirped the whole bench.
Well, that one I understand.
No, you don't understand that. You don't do that. You're a backup quarterback. No. You got released from this team, so you let it drive.
That's why.
Yeah, be a professional. No, I mean, whatever.
But that has nothing to do with the game. That is
that just shows a lot about your character. You're a 100%. Scumbag. You're a piece of you know what. Well, you're gonna go do that.
Let's not say scumbag. That's a little far.
No, it's not. You're going to go do that to a team that you came on for 2 drives. You almost threw an interception on your first throw of the game, and you think you have the clout and you have the machismo to go over to a bench and do that. Show some class. I mean, Matt, honestly, you can do whatever you want. I'm just saying, from the outside looking in, you look like a scumbag. That's a scumbag move to do. It is. Show some class. Show some sportsmanship. Go over and shake their hands and say, hey, we got you. That's how you do that. The whole sideline showed zero class at the end, but whatever. They want a highly emotional ending to a game. Okay. Do you think that's what happened? Did you see what happened on that punt from Jake Julian where we're debating should they have taken a safety? The Toronto Argonauts player blocked one of the Elks, I guess, point man on the outside. into the Argos bench, into Dinwiddie, who was standing on the white. The white is, you're not supposed to stand there during the pace, the time, like the in between the whistles. I think that's what Killam might have been mad at. And as you saw, as Killam was leaving the sideline going to half, was quite vocal about it. But that probably is what he was saying should have been a penalty. If Dinwiddie's standing there, taking contact in the white. So maybe that's what then said to Dinwiddie that he's going to go back and tell Killam what he thinks about it. But that's just my 2 cents about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
think scumbag's just too far for just something like that.
It's not okay.
For something like that, I think scumbag's just a far
scumbag move.
Sure.
That's what I said. Scumbag move. Is Jared Dagey a scumbag? I don't know. I've never met the man.
That's why, like, I wouldn't go that far.
Okay. Am I out of Edmonton Sports Talk Green and Gold Postgame Show purgatory now?
There's no purgatory.
I don't like that stuff. It just doesn't look good. It'll come back to bite you in the ass.
Yeah, it is classless. There is all that. But I think if the Elks have bigger problems to deal with, and that's you're trying to catch these teams for playoff spots and focus on those, and you want to go now, you want to get revenge, go win your next football games and knock the Toronto Argonauts out of the playoffs and be that third playoff.
Sure.
Use it for that motivation. I know they won't play each other anymore, but you know, the Argos do have a very difficult schedule the rest of the way. And we'll get to that a little bit later when it comes to their hunt for a playoff spot when it comes to the Elks. Avery Lewis McDougall, Avery Sports Show. You can't force 6 turnovers and walk away with an L. Stealth, Argos know the Elks choked this game away. The Elks know this game they choked it away. Yeah, that's going to be the disappointing thing I think overall for the Edmonton Elks is that knowing that they had this football game, that at half you had a very nice lead and you let it slip away. And
yeah, absolutely.
It like even in the third quarter it was 11-10 scoring. Like while the Argos still pushed, like you were getting your turnovers though. You were getting the ball back. You stopped the Argos in multiple times. And you just dropped this one. Now, there are still going to be losses. The Elks were never going to run the table the rest of the way. I think there's still a lot of positives to look from today. I think most notably it is the defense. I think when you look at what the defense did today, you could sit there feeling good that this defense is going to play well the rest of the season. They did it against Calgary and they did it against Toronto. It's how do you get Justin Rankin going? How do you make sure you get Justin Rankin going? Or if he's not, how do you execute as an offense? Because to me, the crazy thing is the fact that when you have a quarterback that says 25 of 28 for 229, 2 touchdowns and no interceptions, I don't know how you lose that football.
Oh, and by the way, your defense forced 6 turnovers. If you told somebody that didn't watch this game, hey, Cody Fajardo was this, and your defense forced 6 turnovers, you think it's a blowout.
Well, I could just throw you, if the stat we put up there was Cody Fajardo 25, 28, 229, 2 and 0 touchdowns and interceptions versus 21 of 31, 261, 2 and 4 / 3 of 6 for 35, 0, 0. Who won?
No. So how did they lose? How did they lose?
Well, and then that's my point. Offensively, like you just don't have those other weapons to count. Like, I'm not going to, now I know he was banged up coming into the season. Why is Pat Ketty from the Burrows calling me? We're on the air.
You may not know that.
Well, come on. What I will say is, like, I thought we'd see more with McSimic utilizing Javon Leake this season. They had a bit of a 2-headed monster last year running attack. With what any of the 3 running backs, whether it be Kevin Brown with Rankin with Leake with Brown, they had a nice 2-headed monster generally. And it seems like, for whatever reason, they just can't get Leake going this season. How many games has Javon Leake offensively been super productive for this team?
Yeah, like offensively?
Not punt return, kick return.
But okay, let's be honest about one thing. You want him to be most effective in the return game. That's his number 1 priority because he is quite effective. But I feel like they're not using Javon, like they're trying to run Javon Leake the same way they'd run Justin Rankin. trying to find a seam up the middle, that zone run play. That with Justin Rankin, he might get 3 or 4 yards even with 2 guys on him. Javon Leake doesn't have that extra drive. He's a speed guy. You have to find ways to get him to the edge. He had that one great run where, guess where it was? It was an off tackle, right? It was a counter. They ran it once, and Javon Leake ran for, I think, 14 or 15 yards. So you have to get him outside. You can rush Justin Rankin up the middle, but when it's not going like it was today, like, did we see one screen pass, Matthew? I don't recall seeing
there's
one.
nothing that comes off the top of my head.
Right?
And this is why there's a frustration I have with Jordan McSimic this year, is that at times you see creative offenses. At times you see an offense like last week that can move the ball in so many different ways. And then you get to weeks like this and he throws it all away, and he does just very basic, boring, simple, thinking that this is going to solve it. Like, and that's my point. Like with Leak, I'm surprised McSimic hasn't found a way to make Leak be more productive with this team when we saw it last year.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to come in as this massive offensive guru. And Leak is, as much as, yes, you're right, they need him for the punt kick return game, but he's regressed from that offensive perspective by a big margin, by a large margin.
Yep.
So who else are you going to go with?
Well, you go with who's got you here. And I mean, this team is capable of doing things. Justin Rankin's clearly capable. Javon Leake's capable. But you have to put them in the right position, right? I felt like this is going to be a reoccurring theme throughout the rest of the season, I feel. But this play, the scheme where they have the extra alignment in, I felt like their mesh points and their timing on that were just off today. I didn't think that the timing of that was hitting well. Last week, Mark Evans would come through the hole with speed. Today, they had him back on the line. Right? Mm-hmm. Yes, last week they had him back almost parallel to Cody Fajardo so he could come through the hole with speed. So I don't know why they changed that. It was working so well last week. And look, credit to Toronto, too. They game planned for the run game. They said, we're not letting Justin Rankin run roughshod over us all night. And they didn't. But I still don't get, I mean, you look at the second half, they were outscored 28-16. They didn't put this game away in the first half when they were clearly dominating Toronto. I thought they got sloppy with their play calling late in the game. I thought they should have been more aggressive with their play calling. You could see they were just setting up to be happy with a field goal. You cannot do that in the CFL. I don't care who the quarterback is. 3-4 completions there in field goal range. Game, set, match. You don't have anything to say about it. You have to go for the throat. And they didn't. It was clear in their play calling. And I don't know who when it's under a minute, if Killam's involved more with that, or if that's straight on McSimic. If it's on McSimic, I'm sorry. You have to be more aggressive. You got down the field all day by passing, dink, doink. And then you clamor up when you're in the red zone or in field goal range and try run back-to-back runs. I just think, why are you playing this sport? Why are you coaching this if you're not going to go for the throat? If you're not going to go for the kill and put this out of range? They had that opportunity. They could have.
One thing I do also want to get to on the show tonight or this afternoon. Is it? We're still afternoon. I'm not a fan of the penalty that happened on Jackson for when Herzlo tried jumping in the air and he got destroyed. When you're leaping in the air, there is heights change. As a defender, like I just truly don't know what a defender is supposed to do in that circumstance. Who knows how high this player is going to jump? You don't know. You don't know if it's a light jump. You don't know if it's a massive jump. And you've got to go try to defend that. So you just jump yourself and you push your arms forward. And you connect with Herzlo in the face, and it's a 15-yard penalty. I don't like that call. I don't think that that's the right. If you're a receiver, why don't you just always jump and hopefully get a punch in the face or something, and then you get an extra 15 yards on the play? That was a solid defensive play. Herzlo tried jumping. He got lit up. That's football. And to see a 15-yard penalty come out because of that, I didn't like that.
Yeah.
And I think that sparks the Argos a little bit on that drive.
I think it was a poor interpretation of that rule. I feel like the refs probably should have. I mean, if you look back at that, Herslow's leading with his foot. What are you supposed to do? I guess next time just stand there and let him hit you with your foot, and it's objectionable conduct on Herslow. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of an adaptation to this rule based off of people jumping. Because in real time, boy, did that look funny. Because it looked like they got tangled up completely unintentionally. When you look back on it, could you call that a spear? Yes, absolutely. It's hard to deny that. But it's just you're changing the rules when you're trying to jump over a player. And, oh, by the way, what if he hit him in the knees? Are they going to call penalty on that too? Because that's objectionable conduct as well on a receiver. Like, you are allowed to hit a running back or a receiver. You're allowed to tackle them in the head. It just can't be bang, bang after they catch a pass because then they're defenseless. Herslow was not defenseless at all. He knew what he was doing. He was going to try to jump over that guy.
He caused it.
Yes.
He outright caused it. If he doesn't jump, Jackson's not hitting him in the face because Jackson's attacking that differently.
I think it was a poor interpretation. I get it's a rule, but I think there needs to be some common sense in that rule. Not to mention, there was some interesting penalties here. On a Javon Leake kickoff return, he goes and gets tackled into the bench, the Elks bench, and the Toronto player gets up and stands over him and taunts him.
Which is generally a penalty.
That's a penalty. That's not generally. That's a penalty.
Well, we didn't say called. I think was it 2 weeks ago?
Benjamin Victor.
Because we should have seen one last week called.
Benjamin Victor pushes him out of the way.
Not much.
He trips over his own player.
It was like that.
Yeah, it was like, get out of here.
Yeah.
It was like, get out of here.
Yes.
He trips over his own player and falls, and the refs call that a penalty. A 15-yard penalty. I mean, guys, this is football. Give your head a shake. If you're going to be so sensitive, you could call something on every play. And oh, by the way, the reason Benjamin Victor was doing that was because there was a taunting in the first place. Now, I understand they usually don't catch first. Who does it first? It's usually the person that reacts. But the reaction didn't warrant a 15-yard penalty. I'm sorry. Late in the game, Benjamin Victor again. Awful spot when they were driving that led to a third and short, which ultimately led to them kicking a field goal.
Well, yeah, he caught the ball.
He caught the ball with one hand, and the one hand was on the first down line.
Yeah, it was
by rule. Forward progress suggests that's a first down.
Yeah, he doesn't get touched, and his momentum takes him back by about 2 yards. Falls down, his foot hits the out of bounds, and for whatever reason, the ref marks that right at the 2.
Bruce from William Hupp. Oh, sorry.
Well, and just and with everything that you've said, you're talking about the aggressive attacking. They wouldn't have had a sell for the field goal. And they would have been able to kill more time, but that was a very poor spot there.
Yeah.
You want to get to because I was going to read the Bruce as well.
Okay, go ahead. You do it.
Oh, I'll let you do it because I'm trying to fix something here.
He says, I think the issue with Toronto and the other East teams, the benches being side by side, is Bush League. I have stood there in Toronto, and one day things are going to explode. It's emotional, and having the players side by side always causes trouble. I agree.
Toronto's that way. I think Ottawa's that way. Montreal's that way, and BC is now that way.
Why is BC that way?
Because I think it was Bruce that was mentioning it. They added those digital boards on the one side. So to have those digital boards, they move the other team to the same side. So now I think there's 4 teams that have it. It is always going to lead to problems, I believe. I remember back a number of years ago, Odell Willis ended up walking through the Red Blacks part of the bench and got a 15-yard penalty. Football should have the teams on either side.
Absolutely.
It's too emotional. This isn't hockey. And at the same time, it's also just the number of players. You're cramming everyone on a half of a field when they're so used to getting a full side. So
and don't forget this as the play. So Toronto's play on the left side, Edmonton's on Toronto's on the south side, Edmonton's on the north side, but they're on the same sideline. As the play goes towards Edmonton's end zone, well, that whole Toronto bench creeps towards Edmonton.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And
they're going to start
referees will say, hey, stay, but you're not staying within your, like in hockey, there's boxes. There's massive pieces of wood that separate you from the other bench. In football, it's not so much. But I'm pretty sure that Dinwiddie and Daigie will probably come back and say, yeah, I probably shouldn't have handled that way.
Are you sure about that?
Well, I mean, you go back and look at it. I know you were in here setting up for the show, and I'm not sure how much you saw, but it was pretty aggressive. Now, I get it. It's emotion. It's an emotional game. Emotions are certainly high after you kick a game-winning field goal. But that stuff just doesn't leave you. It will never leave you. Especially Daigie. Look, man, great. Your team won. You came in, you were 3 of 6 for 35 yards. I don't know that warrants a ribbing of the entire Edmonton sideline. Oh, by the way, of which, this is a totally different staff than last year when you were here. You might want to control that a bit. That's all I'm saying. Just that stuff does not leave you. People don't forget about that. So, interesting tactic.
I just feel like when did he get cut? Yeah, he wasn't here fully, but this regime released him on May 2nd, just before training camp.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know what he was expecting with his time in Edmonton. If he's upset with the city of Edmonton, or not the double E. I don't know what he was. He actually had his shot. He got a start and he wasn't great in it. Back in 2023, I believe it was. He got a start and it didn't go well. It didn't go well at all. So I don't know why. But hey, everyone does their things that way. For the Edmonton Elks, they'll now move on from this and try to get ready. What would you do if you were this Elks organization? I believe they're coming back to town. They take on Hamilton and Hamilton next week. Would you stay out there? You could have.
No.
You would have come back?
Yeah, there's too many people with families. There's too many people with children. You don't want to keep them away from. That's like your home base. That's your grounding. That's what keeps you sane at some points during the season. And I mean, it's not like they're playing in Hamilton on Thursday. It's a week away. They're going to be home. They're chartering home. They're going to probably be home back in Edmonton by 8:00 tonight. You know what I mean? Our time.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it's a 4-hour flight usually for us. That takes us to 8, yeah?
Pretty close.
Yeah.
So you'll get a good night's rest, take tomorrow off, back at it. You have your day one Monday. It's a regular week. I think there's more distractions and more possible distractions if you stay out there as a team. And plus, guys away from their family generally isn't good. But yeah, they go to Hamilton. They host Saskatchewan. They host Winnipeg.
After a bye.
They go to BC, and then they finish off the season hosting the Stamps. So all in all, this is not a done deal. This is not, this is over.
No.
It's just another, bump in the road that they've got to get over.
Well, you got to also look into, I know they first have to catch one of those two teams in the West, which I think we have to look at Winnipeg. You talked about in the kick show.
Oh, yeah,
BC.
absolutely.
That's who we're looking at more so here. But Toronto gets Montreal next week.
Unless Streveler turns into Daigie or something. Just goes bonkers.
Toronto is home to Montreal next week. So that's actually big in one way or another. We still don't know the full status of Davis Alexander, but Toronto and Montreal are tied. We could also be talking about Montreal here, too, with a crossover.
Well, that's a win-win game for Edmonton.
Yeah.
Whoever loses it.
You want Montreal to win?
Probably.
Because Montreal has a game in hand on Toronto. So and if they get Davis Alexander back, they're going to maybe pick up some victory. So you do want Montreal to get that victory. But actually, Montreal has the game in hand coming up in a couple of minutes here. But then Toronto's got BC. They go to BC. Toronto's home to Hamilton. Toronto goes to Saskatchewan. Toronto goes to Calgary. That's their season. That's a tough schedule for them. When you look at Ottawa in this regard, they're home to Winnipeg next week. So that's a win-win for Edmonton.
Yep.
Largely. They get a bye. They're home to Saskatchewan. They're in Montreal. They're home to Montreal. So at the very least, you're thinking of maybe a split there. And then they're in Hamilton. It's a very tough schedule for Ottawa, too. So.
And Deacon St. John does make a good point. Montreal needs to lose tonight in Saskatchewan, which
it's likely. I don't think a lot of people are expecting MBT coming back, that this is going to turn the fortunes around in the Montreal Alouettes. The only reason, Huss brought up an interesting point in the lock shop of why you would maybe see it. After those two big wins against the Blue Bombers, do you have the letdown? And you're getting set for a bye week. Is there a letdown coming for them maybe? The Owls will hope for that to be the case. They're going to try to take advantage of that. But it is going to be a sold-out crowd down at Mosaic Stadium, I believe, or very close. The only thing is it's raining, apparently big rain. So this, the game's going to be impacted by the weather, it looks like, in this one, in terms of maybe a bit of a sloppy game. And if that's the case, I do really like Saskatchewan at that point, too, because they've got A.J. Ouellette in the backfield. And Sean Thomas Erlington is hurt for the Montreal Alouettes. They got a couple other guys, including Thies, but it's going to make things a lot more difficult. But no, it's still very much there. You know, Hamilton's going to be a tough game. There's no question. You're going back out east. That's going to be difficult. Saskatchewan, I'm going to mark as a loss, just for the sake of argument right now. But for Edmonton, it's the Winnipeg BC games. You've got to go take both of those. If you could take both of those and find a win against the Hamilton or the Calgary, that puts you at 8. Is 8 going to be good enough? I don't think so. But imagine if you get the revenge on Hamilton. So I think based on this football team and based on what we've seen, I'm not expecting a lot more games this season where the Edmonton Elks don't have Justin Rankin firing in a good way. Like being in this. Like if you look at the Labor Day game in Calgary, Justin Rankin had a quieter day, but it was 48-48 receiving passing. That's 136 yards all purpose still. I'm not expecting a lot more days this season or games this season the rest of the way where Justin Rankin is going to have all-purpose 38 yards.
Well, they certainly can't be.
If they're more, they're not making the playoffs. It's just that simple. But he's too good of a player to be held that way week in and week out. It's just that simple. He's too good.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just something about that mesh with the extra lineman in tonight just was off. The timing was off. If you go back and look at that game, you'll see Mark Evans was very close to the line. I think that's what helped last game, is when you're close to the line, you can only see what you see in front of you. When you're back by the quarterback, you're starting from depth, you can see the hole created, and that you can see where you're supposed to be going to. This just created too much of a zone read, and they haven't been able to do it all game or all year. Now, Carter O'Donnell, addition to the line. Did I see him get beat one-on-one I didn't see that. I saw it in other areas, but I didn't see it from Carter O'Donnell. I do know what I did see was that Cody Fajardo, on every third and short that the Elks had, picked up the ball and put it right behind Carter O'Donnell's butt, and usually got 3 or 4 yards. So that's a positive. You can say that. But for the fact that they kept this close so late, the fact that they didn't go for the kill shot at the end, I mean, I'm sorry. You just don't deserve to win if that's going to be your mentality. And if that's your mentality as a staff, especially offensively. What would you like to have seen
different on that, like on play calling wise?
Did you see one shot deep?
Did we see any of those really tonight?
Did we see one deep shot from Edmonton? Now, that might go to your point. Do they have the playmakers to do that? Well, they have in the past.
Or do they have? Did he have the time to go do that? Or that could also be on if Cody is dealing with some sort of ankle. Maybe it's impacting.
You never know,
his
Matt.
Step in to throw, on that, and maybe that's why he didn't look that way. Is that he couldn't he doesn't feel comfortable doing that if there is something there. In terms of, do I get deep balls?
Because there's been several games where Cody has taken off and ran the ball and looked pretty good with his legs. He just didn't seem to have that pop tonight. And there was a couple shots where he was walking out or running off the field and just had a slight limp to him. Kind of how it started with Arbuckle. So I wouldn't be shocked to see if he's battling something.
The Elks were officially 0 big plays. I don't see how many attempted big plays. I would have to look at that later in the week when we get a different stats package.
I don't recall really any.
That's what I was just trying. I don't recall too many really like 20 plus yard attempts.
I'm not necessarily complaining about it though. I'm just saying you need to keep the defense somewhat honest.
But yeah, I think overall,
throw it up.
I think overall in a game you'd still like one or two to
minimum.
Push the
minimum
defense
just
back,
to
right?
say to the defense, hey, we're not afraid.
Yeah.
We're not afraid to try that. So you better be backpedaling out of here. You better be respecting when a receiver takes off.
Or at the very least, I would also think then somebody should probably be open at some point because the Argos are pushing up so much.
Well, you would think because they were doing those dink and doink passes that I've talked about. 9-yard hits, 8-yard hits. They were doing that all night. So you'd think after doing that, you'd be able to then take a shot. I don't recall seeing one. If somebody out there is listening and thinks there was, let me know.
Yeah, Deacon St. John says, what was the longest pass play for the Elks? Hilaire had the longest reception of 22 yards. Would have to look how many yards after catch that one included. Arkell Smith was second at 21. When you look at the Toronto Argonauts, Polk had the biggest at 58, and Herslow had a 30-yard catch as well in that game. The Toronto Argonauts had only 2 big plays, though, in that game themselves. But as Jay pointed out on the kickoff show today, the Toronto Argonauts defense was known for giving up big plays. They were the worst in the CFL coming into today in defending big plays, while the Edmonton Elks were 3rd best in the CFL of accomplishing big plays. It looked like a matchup that would work well for the Edmonton Elks, but if you're not going to attempt a big play, it's kind of hard to accomplish a big play. So I know I saw it late, but my dad was in the nasty chat saying fire the OC. So that's where my dad's at from. That's where my dad's at from this game.
Well, I just
want to know, but
it can be very inconsistent.
That's the thing. The offensive game planning is just very inconsistent. Week in and week out, you don't know what you're going to get, and that's a shame because when it's clicking and when it's doing well, they look good. And it seems like they maximize the strengths of their team when they do that and minimize the exposure to the weaknesses. And then there's the other weeks where they say, we don't care. We're just going to play it this way. Scround peg, circle hole. We're just going to pound it in and try to get this to work. And we're going to run the ball up in the middle, and we're just going to do this, and that's all we're going to do. And we're not going to yes, Justin Rankin's not running the ball well up the middle. Yes, we're not getting those holes. We're going to keep doing it, though, because that's how we're going to do it today, as opposed to trying to mix it in with a screen or trying to mix it in with maybe Javon Leake going to the outside and mixing him in a little bit more. That maybe that opens up the middle of the field for a little bit for Justin Rankin. No. Tonight was the game from McSimic. Nope, we're just doing it one way, and I'm not adjusting. This is how we're going to win. And maybe that was the flaw for the Elks too. Is that when you look at the offense or the team, the offense didn't have the best first half, but they were in the lead. It was 14-3, and then for the large part, there was a very good chance that the Elks were very close to shutting out the Argos for the first half. Maybe they sat there, we don't need to make adjustments.
What could have been? What could have been?
What could have been? The Edmonton Elks out at yards per attempt. Out yards per attempted. The Toronto Argonauts 8.2 to 8.0.
At halftime, Cody was 14 of 16 for 146 yards, two touchdowns.
14-16.
They were 7 of 12 on second down conversions. 7 of 12
the first half?
In the first half.
Because they showed a stat on TSN, I want to say early fourth quarter, where they were 7 of 14 on second down conversions.
You know what they finished the game at?
Don't tell me 7.
8 of 21.
So they managed 1 second down conversion in the second half.
Yes.
That's not good.
That's terrible.
That's
terrible.
not a recipe for success.
Well, you get yourself into second and longs.
Wow.
That would be an interesting stat, actually, to see how often this team is in second and long situations, like second and 6, 7, 8, 9 yards.
Well, I can tell you tonight, this afternoon, geez.
We're used to nights, Usually the parking lot's a lot more buzzing around here.
Yeah, it's disappointing. We don't have any entertainment going on around here. The aquarium shop is something else at night.
Buzzing.
21 second down at conversion attempts the Elks had today. 2 of them were within 3 yards. 5 of them were within 4 to 6 yards, so second and 4 and 6. 13 of the 21 second down conversion attempts the Elks had today were 7 or greater.
Well, you know what that's telling you? Is your first down offense stinks.
It was struggling big time.
Big time. And you're stuck in your ways. Like it seemed like they were trying to, like you said, square peg and round hole. Trying to say, no, we got to get the run game going. Abandon it. If it's not working, you can come back to it. But go with what's working. They were not respecting the 10-yard, 9-yard, 8-yard dig routes by those receivers. How many of those outs did you see to the sideline? Cody hucking it up, a 45-yard pass to get 8 yards. They were giving that to you because they were buttoning up the run game. You have to know this. It's like, I don't know why this is so obvious to you and I, and I'm sure all the listeners. Why? Why can't you just go with what they're giving you? Right?
Which we saw just last week.
Yeah.
Like, and this team's done it. They took what was there for them, and they exploited it, and they dominated the Calgary Stampeders.
And put that to bed. Put it to sleep early. They just seem like they're, I guess maybe this offense could be stubborn. Matt, is that the right word?
But again, it's stubborn in certain games. This game, they were stubborn. Yeah. This game, they were going to do it one way, and it was the only way they were going to do it. And then there's other games, like the Montreal game, they were not stubborn. Out in Montreal, things didn't work well in that first half. But in that second half, they didn't run the ball once. But they mixed in ways to get Justin Rankin going, and they mixed in ways to move that ball down the field. And they took, that was one of those games where the Montreal Alouettes, I believe, like the Elks were having a great time just throwing it out to 10 yards out. And getting close to a first down, if not getting a first down. They just taking advantage. Al's going to give us that. We're going to take it. And then tonight, they didn't want to do that. I have just one favor. Can you unplug that cable and plug it back into your microphone? I just get like a buzz that has popped up, and I don't know if it's because of that. Stealths in the nasty chat. Not going to deny going into the fourth quarter. It was early in the fourth. I said this game feels like we're going to choke it away somehow. It was the drive before Arbuckle threw the third interception. I thought to myself, we're going to find a way to choke this game away, aren't we? Here's the one thing, though, is you said it was before the third interception. They managed 2 more interceptions. They got that third interception. They got that fourth interception. It shouldn't have, there were moments like, okay, well, the Argos, they're going to get back in this. But the Elks found a way to keep pulling away. They kept extending the lead. Argos would make it 3. They would go score a touchdown. And then for whatever reason in the fourth quarter, they didn't get any of that. And they allowed the Argos to, it doesn't help that fumble, when you're going to get a defensive touchdown. That just overall just changes a lot.
And of all the things to happen, Toronto's the team that gets a defensive touchdown.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's
considering
a great point.
How the game went.
The turnover 6-1, and which team got the touchdown out of those?
Yeah.
The one with the 1.
And look, David Beard's going to feel awful about that. He will. It's sad. It sucks. It's a heat of a moment. Sure, it's easy for you and I to sit here and say, fall on that thing. But he probably could have. He probably should have secured it a little bit better or taken time to secure it. And who knows what happens. It was a comedy of errors in the fourth quarter. It was poor play calling, offensively and defensively on that, on that last drive.
The last drive's a tough defensive drive for the team. There's no question about it.
I disagree with that. I think you pin your ears back and go after Daggy, who's not going to beat you. Send the house.
Yeah,
Send the house.
It's just it's a tough drive for the team in the end that they.
Yeah, if you're playing,
they blew it.
Well, I know, but if you're playing,
they're playing that prevent.
Yes,
and that doesn't go.
It never works.
If we go and say that the defense had a bad drive today, it was that drive. That was almost it. They played such a good game overall until that very last drive. But that's where I have a tough time going after the defense on that one. I know some people. I saw a message earlier saying this game's on the defense for that last drive, and it's not, because they gave the Elks the ball back 6 times. And
who said this game's on the defense?
There was somebody there earlier that said this game was lost because of that last drive.
That's gotta be a joke.
They said it was that last drive. They didn't say fully on the defense, but they said they lost it because of that last drive, which officially, yeah, they did because they gave up the game.
They wouldn't
points,
be in the game.
Right,
Did you see how many points came off of turnovers? All of them.
And then, well, actually, Stealth, the Metier roughing the passer penalty hurt as well, which it was the way he threw him down. It better
just don't do it. Don't do that.
But he wasn't around
up.
the head. He wasn't around the head, so I hope that they didn't call a headshot on that one.
No, it was the extra
fine.
tug. You saw it.
Yeah, but it was Metier getting hurt cost the team. Brinkman went down for a bit too. They were battling a couple of injuries, this Elks team, so hopefully those aren't concerns. Hopefully Metier's okay. It doesn't look good. If that's an Achilles, those are tough injuries to rebound from. They can take a long, long time to
Sucked
recover.
when
Them.
he showed it after.
But
he was really by himself.
He looked like amazing spirits. When you see people get Achilles, you see like such sadness on their face. I know, that's the thing. That's what I'm so impressed about with him.
He's such a positive guy.
Even when Killam came up to hug him and they showed that, he's like, he almost had a smile on his face still.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you don't see that generally.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've never had the Achilles rupture, but from what you see from all those, they know in that moment what has happened.
He knew.
And for him to still have that attitude for it, I like him. He was a fun person on the Hangout. He was a very fun person. And what I really appreciate about him is he took it on him to kind of be the ambassador with the Stollery for the Elks.
Yeah, he's an incredible person off the field. He's an incredible player on the field. We just hope everything, if it is the Achilles, that's a long, arduous rehab. And that can take up to a year.
Yeah.
Before you can even step back on the field. So terrible, terrible, terrible thing to happen to such. I mean, you don't like to see injuries in any team, either side of the ball. This one definitely hits home a bit more. He's been here. He's come in. He's been gracious with his time, and just he's got a good outlook on life. So I think that's why you could see that if somebody's going to find positivity in absolutely one of the worst things to happen to him in his professional career, it would be a guy like him.
Oh, that's sad news. Just quickly, the NHL PA's announced that Bob Goodenow has passed away. He was the head of the NHLPA during that first lockout, I believe, 04-05. But he looks like he was only 73, maybe? I'm doing the math correctly? That's too bad. When we look ahead to Hamilton, where...
The tough game, man.
It's going to be a tough game. The Elks almost beat the Ticats here in town back on August 1st. The Ticats, I don't know what to make of them. They get a win this week against the Chris Strever-led Bombers, though. They've got Bo Levi. They've got Greg Bell in the running game. Where are you at right now with that game? Like,
I honestly don't know what to expect. This team has proven that they are capable of Jekyll and Hyde. They're capable of being something one week and something else the other week. And I'm strictly speaking offensively. The good thing, the positive, if you want to look at a positive, is this defense is a wagon. This defense is playing well. They're coming into their own. And
some of those interceptions were just great interceptions.
Great interceptions.
Like, actually, they almost had that fifth with Terrell on the sidelines that got called back with the Royce Metier.
It was a catch.
Yeah.
They were going to give it to him.
Yeah.
This defense is the best part about this team right now, which after week 3, you would have never thought you'd hear those words coming out of my mouth. And most Double E fans, to be honest. So that's good because that defense can win you games. The offense, on the other hand, needs to figure this out. Needs to come up with a game plan built for Hamilton. You cannot run the same game plan that you run against Saskatchewan, that you did against Calgary, that you did today against Toronto, and expect it to work against Hamilton. You need to adapt and change and find ways to get the most dynamic player, maybe one of the most dynamic players in the CFL, the ball in space.
Would you at all, if let's say you are correct in the end, that Cody maybe is battling something in his ankle, Would you mix a couple of plays of Trey in the offense next week to try to give him a little time, Cody a little time off to mix things up with the Ticats? Like where he I'm thinking more like he steps in like for two players, a quick pass or a run or something off the field, bring Cody back out there or something. Would you try to mix him in somehow just to make the Ticats defense a little off at times? If he, again, this is strictly, there is something with that ankle that is bothering him.
I would.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure if Trey Ford is open to it. Well, I'm not sure if he wants to come in. We've heard this in the past that he did not want to be a gimmick quarterback or a
yes,
part of a system that was, a run pass option or a wildcat.
No, what Chris Jones was saying was he wanted the full gimmick style quarterback.
Yeah, so and I don't know. Does Trey Ford want to do that?
Well, why
doesn't Trey Ford come in for third down?
Because he's too short.
Yeah, but you could do a lot of fun things with that. You've seen teams that have tailored it around.
I'll just say I don't think we've ever heard anything, and we know one person who knows Trey, that Trey is that type of person that has said no to things like that. If anything, I would look at that more as there's not that creativity of wanting to do.
You don't think it's available to him to say, because if that is the case, why haven't they been doing it now? Like just once, twice a game.
Well, I think it's because Cody's their guy. And there was a lot of people that didn't like it done the one way where Trey was in and Cody was going out there, but clearly that was, a cable must be going on us. I think Cody, I think they also don't want him out there because they don't want those conversations. Well, Trey should play more because those conversations shouldn't be happening with this team. This is Cody's team. I'm just saying if maybe there's a limitation to Cody, should they look at or would they at all consider maybe trying to mix in their other quarterback?
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, Monday practice might be a lighter day. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Monday's day one. Tuesday's day two.
They're going to fly out Thursday again?
No, that's not right. Tuesday's day one, Wednesday's day two, Thursday's day three, Friday is walkthrough, Saturday.
Well, Thursday, would they fly out again like they did this week?
Good question.
Because it seemed early to me that they'd fly
Usually
out 2
fly
days
out on
before.
walk day, which is the day before.
Like the Friday. Yeah. This week they flew out on the Thursday.
I like that.
You do?
Yeah.
I don't.
Get out there early.
I don't.
Get accustomed to the time zone a day early. Get accustomed to your hotel a day early.
Yeah, you don't need to get accustomed to anything. It's not like a time change is going to blow you up. It's the only thing that can happen, in my opinion, is you lose focus.
Well, I think also just because of early game. I bet I wouldn't be surprised if that's why.
Maybe that's what
it was. The early game.
I think you're right.
So this maybe Friday. You'll see Friday.
Yeah, next game is 5:00.
Yeah,
which means next week's Green and Gold kickoff show starts at 4:00.
Correct.
I'm looking forward to it. Oh, can I just say one thing?
And then have one message to get to.
I saw that, and I think it's a great question, and we should really try and answer it. I don't know how we're going to, but
I don't know if we've both seen it.
Maddie did appetizers today, and I've got to say, he came out with these salt and pepper wings. They were phenomenal.
No name brand.
Then he did miniature matzo sticks. Delightful. And then halftime comes. He whips up what I said, and I'm not blowing a breeze here. I said those are the best nachos I've had in recent memory. These things had peppers. These had jalapenos. These had black olives. Tomatoes. The cheese was proportioned. The cheese was layered. He put down a layer and then all the toppings, cheese, and then another layer of chips, all the toppings, cheese, and then a third layer. They were perfect. So good that we actually took them and then reheated them about the end of the third quarter, just because we couldn't get through them fast enough, and they reheated like majestically. They were bravo.
Thank you.
Round of clicks to you.
It was. I'm glad when we talked on the hangout. I was like, it's at that lunchtime. It's a little different. I'm actually impressed at you and I for the amount of times we haven't done pizza.
That's true.
This season. We thought it would be just pizza every single week, and we haven't done that. With no offense to the boys, but But the Oil Stream pre and post game shows, which last year was Tommy and Hernan, and this year will be Tommy and Benny. And I know Tommy's on location for a lot of things, but Tommy has done some pre and posts from the studio, and there'll be a few this year, I believe. They don't have as much fun as the Grand
There's
Gold
no way they have as much fun as us.
Not a chance. I'm sorry. I'm going to throw that shot right now. We have
It's
a
not
lot.
a shot. It's just fact.
Yeah, we just have a lot more fun with this one. I don't know if this is the text that you thought. I'm going with how many wins?
That's the one.
Okay. Realistic expectation for the next 5 games to end the season.
2.
You see 2 wins.
Maybe.
What are your 2?
Maybe.
I have 2.
Winnipeg and Saskatchewan. Winnipeg and Calgary.
Those were the 2.
Because I think Calgary, that game at the end of the year is not going to mean anything for Calgary.
I agree.
And I think
agree.
unless Fajar or Collaros is back, Winnipeg might lose the rest of the games they play. And I'm not trying to be a dick about it. I'm just being honest.
The only reason I will defend the Blue Bombers with him is that he's actually 2-1 as a starter for the Bombers this season.
They have to run the ball, man. They have to run the ball, and like I get it. They might find something.
Twice. I think they'll split.
You know what they should do?
Split.
They should adapt their offense to Chris Strebler.
That makes sense.
Change it based on the person you have running it.
I think I'm with you on those 2. I sit there and I look at Hamilton.
If they
BC,
steal another one,
they take one of those? I could see them taking one of those.
This team may just surprise you and come back and win next week. You just don't know.
100%.
But
they're going to be pissed off about last August.
They are.
August 1st.
And the thing that leads me to have some optimism still is that defense. That defense is finding their legs. The defense is finding ways to do it, which they haven't. There's no denying they've been like this all year. And what I'm doing is my hand is going straight up. They've been trending upwards since very early in the season. So that is a positive thing. You can't deny that.
Would 8 wins be good enough to make the playoffs?
I don't think so. Maybe.
It's going to be close.
If you want to get the crossover,
9
right?
Guarantees you.
9, I think, is better because if you want to get the crossover, you have to outright beat the team in the East.
But I don't see Toronto getting.
You can't have a tie in the record and get the season series. You have to have a better record.
But I don't see Toronto getting 3 more victories with their schedule. They get Montreal. They get BC.
Hey, there's Dusty.
They get Hamilton. They get Saskatchewan. They get Calgary.
Dusty
in the
in
second
suits.
last game of the season.
Flew in this morning. Their flight left at 5:30, and they had to go through Calgary to get to Regina. Oof.
Winnipeg gets Ottawa, Hamilton, Edmonton, Saskatchewan, Montreal. I think Winnipeg might only win 1 more game the rest of the way.
Yeah. Not
Which means
good.
8's good enough.
Oh, we got a post game from Killam.
8's going to be good enough. Do we?
Do you want to play?
Is it on YouTube?
Yeah.
Let me
Only
pull it up.
56 seconds.
Well, that's not good.
I want to hear what he had to say.
Oh, minute 46. A little longer. Give me a second to set this up just because I got to put this ad on.
You can just play the audio, can't you?
Well, I don't want to put the ad on.
That's true.
So
No
I have to
free
wait
ads.
for this. I don't pay for premium.
No free ads.
Okay. Let me make sure my computer is all set up properly. This is a minute 47. Here's Mark Killam. Post game, speaking to select media out in Toronto. I don't know what media would be out there besides Matt Shinney from TSN about the loss that the Elks faced to the Toronto Argonauts. Uh-oh. What did I do here? Give me a second. My site's not muted. Oh, no. Why is there no audio? Jay, this isn't good right now. Here.
They credit to them. They made 1 more play than
Okay,
us.
hold
at
up.
the end.
We're gonna start this again. Give me a second. We're gonna do why is that happening? My site's not muted. Oh no.
I think it's on there.
Why is there no audio? Oh no, why? Oh, it's because now I have this muted. Okay, I'm losing my mind here. Here's Mark Killam speaking to the media post-game, Edmonton Elks head coach.
For that one, you had the turnovers that you would hope to win the game, and then obviously you got to scoop and score, but I imagine that's the most frustrating thing, not capitalizing on all those opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, they credit to them. They made 1 more play than us there at the end. We let one get away.
There was a lot of emotions on the sidelines throughout the game. Can you take us through the tension points for you, especially towards the end there?
My tension comes from us doing bad football. That's all. Yeah.
You see this as a setback after all the positive stuff?
We've got to execute better. I mean, we got to execute better. We took the ball away a lot, and I don't know. We got to end some of those drives with touchdowns, not field goals, after taking the ball away.
Your team has certainly, though, played with urgency coming into this. What do the next few weeks look like, knowing how crowded it is in every part of the West?
We just focus on 1 week at a time. We're going into our 9th straight next week. Doesn't get any easier. We're going to go back out east, play a very good Hamilton team at their place. So we've got to regroup. We lost a couple more soldiers today. We'll come back. We'll look at the film. We'll regroup as a team and try to put a good week together. But this one stings, and it should.
And to that point, can you give us any update on Mitch?
No, I don't have an update.
If he is out for long term, what kind of loss is that, especially in your secondary?
Well, I mean, he's one of the best humans on our football team. Super high character guy. That's him as a person, and that's what we care about.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
There's Mark Gillum, head coach of the Edmonton Elks, speaking to the media postgame. Anything stand out to you?
No.
Okay.
I mean,
You're right. There's nothing. Like, it's
The only
the
thing
post-game press conferences are tough.
the only thing I can say is that he's consistent in talking about the offensive woes and the offensive struggles and shortcomings. That is something I've heard from him. He doesn't give you much in those post-game pressers, but you can't settle for field goals in this league, especially when your defense is giving it over to you.
The Edmonton Elks, they fall 31-30. The Toronto Argonauts, they drop to 5-8 on the season, and they will be 2 points back of BC and Winnipeg, who are tied for third in the CFL West. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, just a really weird game. A game that was, like I said, a tale of two halves. This was a dominant performance in the first half and turned into a Wild West shootout in the second half. Some crazy things happened. Some weird things happened. But you know what? At the end of the day, if you're looking at this from, if you're a BC fan or let's say you're watching this, a CFL game for the first time down in the U.S. on one of their CBS Sports 10 or whatever.
CBS Sports.
You're thinking, wow, what a finish. What a game. I mean, it was an entertaining game. 31-30, lots of points, lots of scoring. Just didn't go their way. They've now got to move on, learn from this, and come back and try get back in the winning ways in Hamilton next week.
Next up for the Edmonton Elks, it is the Hamilton Tiger Cats next Saturday, as Jay has already said. That is a 5 o'clock game. So we will have the Green and Gold kickoff show for you at 4 o'clock right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Coming up tomorrow on the station, the final VIP golf show of this season. Murray McCourt, Curtis Stock, and Zach to come in at 1 o'clock. More football coverage as the man to my right of me,
12
Jay
o'clock.
Milne, 12 o'clock. So our game's at 1.
Games at 1.
Broadcast is at 12. Jay Milne, Lieutenant Eric, they will be live at the JP Bowl as we've got the battle. Is there a special name for Battle of Edmonton? Or is it just Battle of Edmonton?
BOE.
BOE. The Edmonton Huskies will be hosting the Edmonton Wildcats in Prairie Junior Football action. Tickets?
Yeah, if you want to come, the Huskies want to fill the stands. So go to EdmontonHuskies.com. The game's at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Click on tickets, enter the code EST, and you get 50% off your tickets. Even if you're just buying one, you want to come by yourself, there's food trucks, there's a beard garden. Eric and I will be there watching the game. It's a great time. Go to the website, EdmontonHuskies.com, click on purchase tickets, and enter promo code EST, and you get 50% off. We'd love to see you out there.
And the boys will be live on YouTube as well as across the Edmonton Sports Talk audio streams tomorrow at noon as well. Thank you to everyone for tuning into the Green and Gold post-game show as well as the kickoff show earlier today. On behalf of Jay, I am Matt. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Jay will talk with you tomorrow. I will talk with you on Monday. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of this beautiful weekend.